welcome to the most anticipated, most longly awaited episode of the year, the first LTLO podcast of the 25-26 NHL season. And it has come a lot later than what we initially expected, right, Luca?
Yeah, no, 100%. What game is this? Game
20?
almost 20s now, and this is our first one. Stuff got in the way. We're busy people. Jays, all that stuff. But we're back, and after some technical difficulties on some live streaming apps, we found a way to at least get this one out until we can find a better way to start doing this more consistently. So, yeah.
This is our third effort of trying a different way to record this podcast. We went from in person in the studio to live over Instagram, and now Instagram and TikTok don't want to let us go live. We're not going to talk much about that. How dare you? But yeah, we might as well just touch on today's game, right? Jackets versus the Leafs. What do you have to say?
You know what? This season as a whole, I want to kind of summarize what's happened because we know, but this hasn't been the season that we thought would happen. There was some glimmer of, oh, this could possibly be a thing with some of the people we lost in the off season and all that stuff, but just narrowing it down in this game because that's why we're here and recording this. It was just a game that we've seen this season, right? There's not really much to say. We were down early for most of this game. It was a tight defensive battle, even though, like, I don't know, it wasn't that defensive. We were like both teams were giving up opportunities. To be honest, I thought the Leafs didn't play that bad. Like we were shooting the puck. We got a lot of shots. Like one thing this season that we haven't been good at is shooting the puck, and we've been outshot multiple games where it's just you're like, wow, like this team just doesn't shoot anymore. And early on in this game, you saw them shoot the puck. Like we just saw Nylander go. I think it was 2 games before the last game where we beat St. Louis without a shot. He was shooting. I think he had 3 shots in the first or 2 shots in the first like 5 minutes of the game. So it was nice to see that that aspect of these guys were actually putting the puck on net and good things will come. But unfortunately, that didn't even happen because they didn't score, and Columbus was on the board first. But overall, I'll let you touch on some things, obviously. But overall, I think it was just a game that we've seen, this team play all season. Right? They're hurt, can't really do much when our top guys aren't on the ice. And yeah, I guess I don't know what else to say, to be honest.
The shots on target thing is one that I feel like we tend to bring up a decent amount, but also I feel like it's been a consistent thing for forever with this team. Like shots on target every game has always been an issue. This year, years prior, it's always been something that we're like, why don't you just risk it and put that puck on net because you never know what's
Yeah.
going to happen, right? And I remember our last podcast, which feels like forever ago. After no, sorry, during free agency, the first one of free agency, we weren't obviously like losing Marner and everything. We weren't up here in terms of emotions, but with the signings that we made, we are like, we could do something this year. Hasn't worked out that way, and it's unfortunate. But my goodness, excuse me. I don't know. You know what? It's been really bad of me that I haven't watched. I've watched 10% of the games this year. So we played 20. I've watched 2 of them. But the issues just seem to be the same consistent issues that we've been dealing with for forever.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I remember a lot of games last year where the team was getting outshot. Like I just remember a lot of games where, you know, the other team would be out shooting the Leafs. But last year was a little bit different because you felt comfortable with the team giving up those shots, with the goaltending we were getting, with the defensive structure we had in place. It was things were working. Plus the offensive ability we had also, right? There was a lot of things clicking last year that have not clicked this year, and there could be a lot of things why that isn't happening. But one thing that I've noticed this year than let's just say last year under Berube is just the defensive effort as a whole. And I know you could say, well, a lot of the team's best defensive players are out. Our best defensive defenseman hasn't played. Nicholas Waugh, who's probably one of our best defensive forwards, is not playing. There's a lot of players that are out that would make a difference defensively, but I look and it's like, well, you know what? Last year, I felt so comfortable on holding on to those 1-0, 2-1 leads, and I'm sure you were too. And before we were talking, before we started this up, I mentioned to you that it's mind-boggling because it's a total switch from last year in the sense of, I remember saying to you, the New York Islanders play hockey a certain way, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I like high offensive hockey, but at the same time, I also like defensive hockey. If we're on the right side of it, I don't mind playing in these tight, low-scoring games. But when you're on the losing side of it, losing 5 games in a row, losing 6 of your last 7, because you just can't really do much offensively. And I know the big part of that is because we're missing guys. I understand that. But still, you still have guys that can provide offense on this team. We saw it tonight. We saw it the other game. We saw it many other games. It's just it's not enough right now, but whatever, injuries. But the team right now doesn't have the oomph that it had in other years, which we knew that was going to happen. Bringing in, like you said before, bringing in all these guys that we did in the offseason, Machelli, which I'm sorry, I think that experiment is over, and we'll get into that later, but I think he hasn't really done anything. Waugh's been hurt. Joshua really hasn't really done anything, but you don't really ask much of him to do anything that we're talking about right now, right? You think that you would get a little bit more of those guys, especially the bigger roles that they're getting on this team, because guys are out, because you brought them in to replace who, and it just hasn't worked so far, man.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that this team shouldn't be this bad, but I am, purely on the basis that, okay, yes, we've lost our the best defensive defender in TANF. 100% a big problem. But when you really look at the core of the team, hasn't changed much, has it? Obviously, like, that's a dumb statement to say. We went with the core 4 for however many freaking years, but the actual heart of the team and majority of the players have stayed the same. And the players who played the first, second, third line roles last year, in a sense, are almost playing their exact same roles, just not as well. And that's why, like, I didn't have high hopes coming into this season, but I think you and I can both agree we had bigger hopes than what we've received so far. And it kind of boggles my mind, considering roles wise, obviously, he who shall not be named had a lot of major roles on this team, right, which needed filling. But in terms of actual, like, 5v5 roles and even power play roles, you're really just switching up one player, right? Everybody who did this saying he wasn't that big of an impact. Now what are you saying?
No, 100%. And when you lose a player like that, it's going to make a difference. And obviously we don't want to get into all of that, because I feel like that's going to be a big thing of, if this losing continues and it's like, oh, well, not that he would, like, let's be honest, right? If you were to add, and I'll say his name, Mitch Marner, to this team, and I don't want to get into this too long because let's focus. Marner's not on this team anymore. It's on Vegas now. It's over. It's done with. But I just don't think that it would make that much of an impact on the season as a whole. I feel like this team is way bigger, has way more problems to start the season to this point than just adding, let's just say, Mitch Marner to this team. Because I feel like goaltending early in the season has been a big problem. And a lot of that goes to Stolarz, which, yes, played a lot, but I hate that excuse, man. I really do. I know for most of his, or all of his career, he was a backup goalie. So him playing almost every game, especially when Wall was not with the team and Primo was the backup at that point, he wasn't really, doing that great at all. So he was having to play more. But it's just, I hate that excuse. he's a professional goalie in the NHL, and we saw what he can do last year. And the goals that he was giving up early in this year, and I'm not just blaming the goalie, but that was something that we didn't have to worry about last year. The defense was something that we didn't have to worry about last year. I'm talking about not as a team, the defensive core, the D-men we had on the team. I just don't think that adding Marner to this team would make us like, yeah, would we have a couple more wins? Yeah, but it wouldn't, in my mind, and I don't know if it's just me trying to cope, but it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Now, saying that, the guys that were here last year that are still here on this team, like you said, a lot of this team is the same. You said it perfectly. Is okay, yeah, you lost Marner. Who else on that team last year, except for Holmberg, is not here this year? But it's true.
Yeah.
You have guys, okay, some in elevated roles. Robertson's played a couple games on the first line, but that's more of injuries.
Yeah.
That's more of injury thing. Guys are playing other spots, and we just haven't seen the same production. And you know what? The thing is you can't expect guys in our bottom six to, continue having the same consistently of years they had, let's just say last year.
Yeah.
Guys are getting older. Let's just use a name of, I don't
Bobby
know.
McMahon.
McMahon. I was thinking to say McMahon because I'll give him some credit. The last couple of games, he's actually shown the passion. He hasn't played that bad, but still doing the same things I don't like. So I'm just going to use a name like Lorenz.
Never.
Not a bad player at all this year.
No.
But the way he played last year, in my opinion, he hasn't looked the same this year. And I'm not saying he's been awful, because he's also been one of the guys that have had the injury bug. But it's just a player in his role last year. I just haven't seen the same player this year. And he's had his moments this year too, like the shorthanded goal, some nice plays this year so far. But I just haven't seen the same Stevie Lorenz that I saw last year. And I know whatever, we're 20 games in, and I say that, but it's a lot of games in.
Yeah.
We're usually a super team in November. I remember when we beat the Pens, if you watched that game when we came back, everyone's like, yeah, the Leafs in November, we're back. We're going to go like 17-1, like we usually do, right? And then that just didn't happen because you're not seeing the same production out of guys in elevated roles with the injuries we have. And it's just unfortunate, but what can you do?
I feel like you're not seeing the same heart either. I feel like the energy levels and the want and the will is not there. It's left the change room, right? Obviously, there's some shifts in particular where you do see it. You do see the grit and the want, the willingness to go for the puck and everything. But like there was once, the reason why I brought up Bobby McMahon when you brought up that is because I remember just one specific play this game in the middle and like near the end of the third. The puck was coming, so he was on our blue line, right, just inside our zone, and the puck was coming towards him from the half wall. And he's waiting for it to get to him. Well, he's literally in the middle of the ice, and he waited for the puck to get to him. And I'm like, if you fast break that, you have a 3-on-2. You wait for the puck to get there, and now there's a 3-on-2 developing the other way, right? So it's the silly little lapses of judgment. It shows that unwillingness to grind, right? If you're going after every single puck head on, you're gonna win some of them, right? You're gonna come out of battles more times than not. So. Yeah. There's no, I hate to joke around. There's no passion. There's no aggression. There's no mindset. There isn't, right? There really isn't. I don't know. It's tough to see, but there's nothing of that. It's a hard watch nowadays.
Yeah, no, 100%. One thing, I'm gonna kind of do a 360 here. Let's talk about something good because so far it's kind of doom and gloom. I thought Easton Cowan played
fantastic. Really well.
Especially in an elevated role playing on that first line. That poise to make that pass to Tavares to tie the game up at 2. Kid's got some potential. That's one thing that I could say right now is, okay, Tavares and Willie are obviously doing what we know they can do, especially Tavares at being the age that he's at and playing 20 minutes a night. Still chugging along, scoring huge goals. Guy's leading our team in scoring right now.
I think they said that tonight 11 of his 12 goals have either tied or given us the lead.
Yeah, and 11 out of his 12 goals have been at home, but that's because we've had a very home-heavy schedule. Anyways, yeah, Cowan played really, really, really good tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely seems like a bright spot. I know last year you and I were both somewhat hesitant on him playing consistent minutes. We thought give him a try, see how it goes, but ultimately end up in the A or the wherever he was, probably back in London. But this year especially this game, like I said, I haven't watched much, but this game especially he just looked fantastic. He was flying around, he was dancing, he had the puck. It's like the puck was following him around every time he was on the ice. Reminded me a lot of number 16. Not gonna lie to you, but yeah, no, it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see, you know, it's always nice seeing a prospect finally, you know, show their effort and their resilience and finally, make their step into the league. And I think tonight was a game where he showed he's like, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Yeah, I can. It's kind of like, you know what, I can do this with the big boys.
Yeah.
And we've seen, like, I know you said you haven't really watched much of the season as a whole, but we've seen in other games, like the goalie scored his first goal. Well, I mean, his only goal so far, but against Philly, where he also played really good in that game too. It's nice to see, like you said, a young guy come up and be kind of like a. Let's not sit here and say he's gonna be, one of our major players in the future, but it's nice to see a prospect show, some excitement to fans, especially because the cupboards are dry. Let's be honest. We don't got a lot of guys. We don't got a lot of draft coming up either. So this is your young guy you got, right?
Yeah.
This is a young guy, and Danford, who obviously we haven't seen him with the big leagues, and hopefully, obviously not this year, maybe next year. If that happens. But it's nice. It's nice to see a young guy. It's nice to see fresh faces that aren't just, no offense to Dakota Joshua, but Dakota Joshua's, right? Kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, or Michelli's, where, what, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he would be playing better than he is right now, and we'll get into that. But it's nice to see a young guy show what he can do, and kind of play, with the big boys on a first line. And again, like, let's be honest, Columbus isn't the most stacked team where you're going against, McKinnon or Eichel's top lines in Vegas and Colorado, right? It's not right. But you know what? Columbus has the Leaf killer apparently, at Philly, who almost had a hat trick tonight, but his first goal was skimmed off the jersey of who was it?
Voronkov.
Yeah, who actually has 9 goals, which
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Columbus, like even Marchenko, who played well tonight too. Columbus, the players they have are good. They just play in Columbus. Like I remember Mike Johnson was saying on the broadcast, they were talking about Marchenko, and it was either him, yeah, I think it was him, and he's basically like, no offense to Columbus, but if he played anywhere else, he would be one of the stars in the league.
Oh, of course, 100%. 40 goal guy last year, no?
But like a really good player. Like the guy's he got what, 75 points last year? I didn't even know that. I didn't even know
Was he not like a 36 goal scorer last year or something like that?
Last year he scored like, yeah, around that number. So he's a very good player.
Yeah, he got a wicked shot.
Really care, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of why I like Dallas so much, and because nobody cares about hockey in Dallas, but they have this amazing team that has so much playoff success because of the players they have. But nobody talks about how good Ruby Hintz is doing, or Wyatt Johnston.
Yeah.
But anyways, back on track. It's nice to see a young guy do what he can do, and let's just hope that he can continue, because if the season continues in this, downfall into the hole of darkness, you would at least like to watch the games and say, yeah, I'm kind of excited to watch the young guy play tonight, like what we saw tonight. So
yeah, it's a bright spot in a dark room, right? You like seeing it, but we just need more out of everybody. We need don't have anything else to say besides we need more of everybody. And I do agree with what you said about tonight. Tonight was a solid game all around. I mean, like I didn't see much. Obviously, there's stuff to pick at for sure, but in terms of actual team play, it wasn't a bad game. I would honestly go as far to say as the Leafs might even have deserved to win the game, right? In terms of like chances and opportunities and even ozone time, right? I think we had majority of them,
Oh yeah,
right?
we dominated at least in the first two periods. I don't know
Yeah,
about
I would say that the third period was definitely a huge lapse of judgment, which is so common with this team. But except for last year, which we were incredible last year. Did you hear that stat? We were 35 1-1 last year when leading after two periods.
wow,
You know what we are this year?
probably nowhere near that.
I'll put it like this. We've already given up more points than last year.
Yeah, I mean, nothing the same. Nothing is the same as last year. Any stat I'm serious. Any stat you read, except maybe the power play at the beginning of the year, last year compared to this year, which it's pretty much probably the same, because last year our power play sucked to begin the season until Matthews got hurt, and then it started scoring at an amazing clip, and then our power play still sucks now. That's another thing, and I hate to say this because it feels like we've been saying this like forever now, but the power play sucks.
Yeah.
And we've said that. I want to go back to what you said to start the live, saying that it's always felt that we haven't done a good job shooting the puck on net, which is true. But I want to
You
bring up
said that, not me.
no. You said no. You said in the beginning that you're like we feel well. We both said it, but you said that it felt like even last year that we were getting outshot in games, and it felt like they just
Yeah.
weren't shooting. And it kind of brought me to the playoffs last year against Ottawa, where you saw them shoot on net. You saw the good things that happened, and I know. Oh, camera went off.
It did it?
Yeah.
Continue, I'll figure it out.
Okay. Anyways, against Ottawa, you saw what good came out of putting the puck on net, especially on the power play. 2 seconds, 3 seconds off the faceoff draw, you win it, puck on net. I don't know why we don't do that. What is the point of circling around the outside, passing it around the outside, especially because our power play isn't as stacked as other years? We look at our starting five to start this game. Not terrible, but when you have Calle Jarnkrok on the first power play unit, what are you doing? What are you expecting to do, man? You have a rookie who right now deserves to be there. Riley, which we know that we don't like him on the quarterback in the power play. And Tavares and Nylander, right? That's your power play. And you should still be able to put the puck in the net. That's what I'm trying to say, but it's just not going in. And I don't understand. They said this, I think, against St. Louis. I don't understand why every time we have the puck, they don't just give it to Willie in the high circle and just let him fire on net every fucking, excuse my language, every time. Like, it actually makes me mad that you've seen him score those goals. We saw it against Carolina. Just a 1T, top of the circle. And they just don't do it enough. And I know teams are doing a good job in saying, well, they have an opportunity to do that, close Willie's side more. I understand that. But when I'm looking at Willie just ready and loaded, and Riley does a stupid fake at the blue line and goes the other way, I'm like, Riley, just pass the puck to Willie, please. Just put it on net. I'm not even looking for a goal off Willie's shot. Willie puts it on net, rebound in front, and it goes in. I just don't know why Mark Savard. I'm saying the wrong name. The whole
Denis Savard.
Johnson, David Savard.
Wyatt Johnson.
Mark Savard doesn't just tee that up. Like, you see teams do that with their best players. Willie has the best one-timer on our team, and they don't do it on the power play. Anyways, what else did you see tonight? Because I don't know what else.
Well, no, the power play was a good thing to note, actually. I thought our first power play was solid, but the second one was what really shone for me, especially the second unit when Domi and Robertson came out. The puck didn't leave like the high slot and the wings. Like it was either at the point or on the wings, and nobody was shooting. It was just pass, pass, pass. But not even just like pass, pass, pass. It's pass, hold on to it for 10 seconds, then give it a hold on for another 10 seconds. But then you watch Columbus's power play, which didn't score, right? But had a multitude of chances, and it's they're holding the puck for maximum 3 seconds. Werenski, Marchenko to Werenski, cross to Fantilli, back to Werenski, into the slot for Marchenko. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with that puck movement comes player movement, comes defensive movements, right? You're not going to break down a defensive zone by one
Opening up
pass every time.
goals, yep, for quick
Yeah.
pass. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, and what you're saying is exactly right, because even the first unit, and again, I wanna track back a little. I thought our first unit was okay tonight. Like, I agree with you. The second unit was just like, what can you really expect for them? You won at least a couple of goals, but I understand what you're saying of just keeping it on the outside and really not threatening at all, because you're holding on to the puck for 5-6 seconds each and passing it around the perimeter, and you're not going to do anything like that. Especially, Jet Greaves had a great game. I thought Wall played great tonight too. I thought Wall has, since he's been back, but you're just not going to score in the power play like that. And even the first unit does that sometimes too. And, again, I want to keep saying this: injuries, guys that are out right now would be playing on the power play. But we had 2 power plays in the first period. You got to at least get a goal.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of people are like, well, you know what? Like, the Leafs power play has been atrocious, meaning that they haven't scored. But on some power plays, they've at least looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at it like that way, especially for what we have to offer on the power play. If you have a good power play, okay, fine. I need a goal. If you get 3 power plays a game, let's just say, you at least need to go 1 for 3. In my mind, especially with the firepower you have on the power play. Fully healthy.
Yeah.
In the benefit of the doubt, fully healthy. You got to go 1 for 3, and I can't remember exactly the stat, but just summing it up, our power play sucks. I think we're like 0-7 in our last, like, I guess 7 power plays, but I can't remember how many games they said. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And you're not going to win, especially the thing is in these close games, right? Overtime deciding games, shootout deciding games, 1 goal deciding games. A power play is a make or break difference in a game like this. And that's why playing defensive hockey needs a good power play.
Yeah.
Because you gotta,
absolutely.
or not even needs a good power play, but you gotta, what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta
You got to have a productive power play for sure.
Yeah, you gotta make them count, is what I'm trying to say. You gotta make the man up count. You gotta make it count. But yeah.
No, I completely agree. And I think we talked about this a lot last year. And it kind of seems evident now on our power play as well. But it also seems evident throughout the entire team is you're looking for the perfect pass, right? When we're moving the power play around the outside, we're looking for that perfect pass, that perfect, cross seam or one-timer pass, the one that we know is going to get us the goal. When you look at the play that ended the game tonight, just before the goal, who gave the puck away? Max Domi, correct? Domi tried a high saucer to a backdoor cutting McCabe. Yeah. Domi tried a high sauce to a backdoor McCabe, right?
Yeah.
From the point.
Yeah.
They gave away the puck on that pass. They went down the other way and scored. Would it have not been so much better to try shooting for a rebound there from the point instead of trying a high lofted sauce?
In my opinion, I think that what you just said and what he did, both of those things shouldn't happen. 3-on-3, shooting for rebounds and those high sauce passes, especially to a defenseman, don't really.
Yeah, that was.
You want to, especially 2 games in a row. I know. Okay, in the last 2 games we're 1-1 in overtime. You don't want to give the puck away. So I think in overtime, looking for the best opportunity and not making a play where there's a higher chance of you giving the other team the puck than you just, I don't know, holding on to it or making it go out or letting the goalie hold on to it. Like, to be honest, I'm not saying he's going to do this, but if it was me, I would have told Domi to at least shoot close to the crest So if he holds on to that, you get a face-off in their zone because you have McCabe right in front of the net. If Greaves gets that, you're just hoping McCabe can stay in the net so he doesn't play it quickly. And I know I'm trying to put the perfect play in my head. That's why I'm saying this wouldn't happen. But I'd rather Domi put it close to the crest so we can hold on to it if he doesn't play it quick. Then you get the fresh top guys on for an offensive draw in 3-on-3 when you have Nylander, Tavares, and I guess Riley in the offensive zone with being fresh, right? I know that wouldn't happen because, like, okay, Domi shoots it at the crest. Greaves doesn't have to hold on to it. Like, it can bounce. It can be a rebound. It's the same thing like shooting for a rebound. Shoot at the pad. Shoot at the crest. It could still go the other way and into your net. Like, I'm sorry. I know he's a forward, but I have no idea what Domi was doing defensively on that play. Like, what was the angle?
Yeah, no.
He was tired and all. I understand that. But what, like, it just looked so weird. Like, it wasn't like he was flat-footed. It reminded me of Gardner in Game 7 where he took the wrong angle and just let Fantilli drive the net or whatever it was. I was so confused, especially Fantilli too. Like, just try to, I don't know, throw your stick at the puck or something. I don't know, because you know he's gonna score.
Yeah, I think we can both agree that the Domi play was just a complete lapse of judgment, a completely dumb play.
Offensively, I think.
Sorry?
I said offensively and defensively. I don't know what he was doing on both sides.
Yeah, no idea.
But he hasn't been good this season too, so.
And to quote the great Steve Dangle, Max Domi isn't a center! He's not a center. He's not a center. He's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, the more, like, this is our first, recording of a post game talking about the Leafs, and talking about it and going off of, like, obviously we've talked about the season as a whole, but we focused on the game tonight. It's making me so depressed right now. I can't lie. Like, I know we got to deal with it, and because this is what we do. But it's just like it's just not fun to watch, dude. Like, and I hate to sit here because, like, let's be honest, we got 9 years of fun hockey to watch. Playoffs, different story, but fun hockey to watch. And you knew eventually, and again, 20 games in, they can turn the season around when everybody gets healthy. But let's talk about what's going on now. You knew that something like this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
But you never really, it won't hit you until it actually starts happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, like what we said before. Yeah, they played good tonight. They didn't play bad. They didn't give up 15 breakaways like they did against Carolina. Our goalie played really good. Like, the goals that Columbus scored, like, were perfect. The first 2 goals were off the post. How was Ball supposed to save that? The third goal, Fantilli's just a god against us. So how, like, I can't. Wall played amazing. Played really good.
The first goal, I don't know what in the hell happened. Why was Voronkov left by himself in front of the net? Who was boxing out?
I have no idea. And you know what? You bring that up, and I say at the end of the game, I think Wood was standing in front of the net, and he had
that one too.
Where is our defense, man? Like, where's our defense? And one thing I actually want to say, and we'll touch on this now, and I want to hear your thoughts on it because we haven't even talked about it texting. Troy Stecher has actually played pretty well for a guy being picked off of waivers,
Yeah.
Moving the puck up the ice and being fast. Like, I notice him, and I don't know if it's just me looking at him the most because he's the freshest face on our team. He's played good for the role that he was, given, especially, being picked off waivers. We needed a puck moving defenseman, and I think, isn't an amazing job of it, but he's done a, better job of me watching Myers screw up 10 times a game. So I want to know your thoughts on the Stecher pickup, because I think for what he's asked to do, I think he's done a good job.
You know what? I don't know if this was his first game or if St. Louis was his first game.
St. Louis was his first, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't watch the St. Louis game, but I didn't know any of the lineups coming into tonight. I kind of just turned on the TV, sat down, and watched it, right? And the amount of times I saw this small right-handed defenseman on the ice, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And it was Stetcher. And I'm like, I've seen this guy so many times tonight, and I didn't even realize he was playing. Now, that could be taken through both sides, right? You didn't even realize it was him. But in the same sense, you realized he was there, right? He
And
was evident. Yeah, you realize he was there on the ice. He didn't make any bad plays or, per se, but there was one play where I saw him driving the net and puck went back the other way. It was a 3-on-2. And who is the one guy that was pacing it back? Troy Stetcher. I
yeah.
was like, you know what? I can deal with this. If this is the effort we're going to get from him, I can live with that. I don't mind it at all.
Oh yeah, and that's you took the words right out of my mouth. I remember in the first game we played, which is against St. Louis. Like I always say, if you're a defenseman and you're not like an offensive defenseman, like let's just say Werenski, the less you're noticeable and the less your name is said on the broadcast, it's a good thing.
Oh, for
It means
sure.
a mistake. But Stetcher, I've noticed him, and again, like I said before, it could be just because he's the newest, freshest face. But I'm noticing him in a very good way, and he's not the most offensive guy. We know that he's not the most defensive guy either. He's a solid puck moving depth defenseman. And that's what we need. And he's done a fine job. He's done a fine job, and I'm happy to watch him over Philippe Myers. I don't want to ever see that guy on the ice again. Dakota Mermis also scored his first goal tonight.
Yep.
Let's move on. No, I'm just joking. If you want to touch on that. No. Yeah, it was like
Congratulations, Dakota.
Splitter went down the dirt. Yeah, let's move on because okay.
There's not much expectation from him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, he's just here because guys are hurt, right? One thing that we haven't done, and we won't go on for longer. Obviously, we've been here for a long time talking about a game that really nothing much really happened. But I just want to go over some of like Machelli. I said we would kind of talk about him again because he was probably one of the most exciting guys coming into the season. Of what, if he can do what he did that year in Arizona, we might have a player on our hands. And he
hasn't.
Not there, man. It's not there. He hasn't been able to really click on a line. I think the best I saw him play was when it was Joshua Waugh and him on a line for a couple of games as the third, like the legitimate third line. But they tried to play him with Knies and Matthews at the beginning of the year. Didn't really work. They tried to play him with Tavares and Willie. Didn't really work. And now he's playing fourth line minutes, not really being trusted by Berube. He was a scratch in one game, came back and played good and against his former team, and he scored and he got an assist because obviously he needs to do that because he's playing his former team.
Yeah.
I think they said it's been 5 games now that he hasn't recorded a point, and it's just like, what are we doing here? And I know, we don't have a lot to replace him, and I'm not saying to do that because you're hoping you can kind of spark something up with him, but it's just I feel like it's still early because we saw in other years like the Bertuzzi when he was here, which this is a little off topic, but Tyler Bertuzzi has played amazing hockey this season.
Oh my gosh, yeah, wow.
Games, but the guy is just like, I don't know about right now, but last time I checked, I have him on my fantasy team. He's got 2 points already tonight. The guy is just amazing. He just came back from an injury.
He's cooking.
Who was telling me, you know what, you shouldn't start him because he's come back from an injury, and he was one of my sit suggestions. I'm like, yeah, no way. And the guy has 3 points because of the power play point. I think he got an assist on the power play. But anyways, you saw him start slow with the Leafs. So you're just kind of hoping that, Machelli just, maybe he's not all there yet because he's getting used to the new system, and you're hoping that he can bring something. I think the experiment's done, bro. I think it's over. You don't bring him back next year.
See, I agree with that. I also thought you were going to say along the lines of try and move him as soon as you can. Get, that 3.6 off the Caps. But I'm thinking, like, he's an RFA at the end of the season, right? You have his rights no matter how this season unfolds. You might as well. You can trade his rights in the offseason if you really feel like it, but 3.6 million. We got David Kampf off the books. You might as well stick it out, right? He's 26, 25,
Yeah,
right? Like
he's young, well, younger on the younger side. Um, no, it's not that I think we should move away from him, especially because you're not like the injuries we have. You're not losing anything. When we traded for him, we didn't give up a lot. It was a low risk, high reward thing. Is if this guy pans out,
absolutely.
if he doesn't, you only give up a later round pick and you just move off of him because he's an RFA, so you don't have to bring him back.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I wasn't expecting this guy to be like amazing and racking up all these points, but I wanted him to be a little bit more noticeable. Like all I've seen so far from him is he can pass the buck.
You want
He's a
production, of course.
he's a great passer, but that's it. That's it. Domi's a good passer.
You know who else was a good passer?
I'm
I'm kidding. Okay.
But it's true, right? He came into the year saying like, oh well, you know what, he's not gonna be Marner, but you know he makes passes like Marner, and we've seen it a lot of times, but we just haven't seen it enough. And he also doesn't bring anything else. He's got 8 points in 18 games, 19 games. How much he's played, I don't know.
That's his average, though, right? That's his average throughout his career so far.
But it's just like you saw the opportunities he got. You
Yeah.
saw the opportunities where it's like you're playing with Matthews and Nice. You're gonna get points. You're gonna get.
You should be getting points.
Get points. You're playing with Tavares and Nylander. You should be getting points, and he just wasn't. And that's why he's now playing on the fourth line right now. Yeah. And dude, it's an injury-ridden team right now, and he's playing on the fourth line. That's how you know that Berube's like, this guy. I don't know what to do right now with him.
Yeah, you know it's bad when they trust Jacob Quillen over him.
But that's what I'm saying, man. Like you see.
No disrespect to Quillen, by the way. Love the guy, but
you see how injured this team is, and he's still playing fourth line.
Yeah.
Because Berube's like, what is this guy gonna do for me? He hasn't clicked with any of the top lines, even though our top line is out. But he, like, I don't know. Again, it's only whatever how many games in, but he doesn't, like, I see him bring the puck up the ice a couple of times. I haven't seen enough from him. And I know, like you said before, I'm not expecting him to, be this all-around point guy that gets points every night, 2-point games. I'm not expecting him to do that, but I'm just expecting him to be more noticeable. I don't need him to get a point every night. I just want him to be more noticeable. Like the power play. He's good at passing. Why is he not on the first power play unit? Oh, because he doesn't bring anything.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point.
No, I agree. With the guy of his, I'm going to put it in quotations, quality. With the qualities that he brings in terms of, being able to move the puck in the way that he can, it's almost a requirement to be a power play player, right? Like you should be on, especially like you said, a team that's very injury ridden right now. You should be even on the second. Is he even on the second?
He is on the second unit, but that's not even the point.
You don't see him.
The point, exactly, but that's why the point I'm trying to make is he wouldn't even make a difference if you play him on the first power play unit because he doesn't do it. He doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
You see him pass the puck, and you're like, well, okay, you need to pass on the power play. That's what opens up making his trick passes or his nice playmaking passes. But he just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
He hasn't clicked with any of the guys.
Yeah.
And that's the point I'm trying to make is Berube sitting here is like, well, this guy's playing on my fourth line because he hasn't been able to click with anybody else. So I'm just going to play him on the fourth line and give him fourth line minutes because he hasn't been good.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play him on the first power play unit because he hasn't done anything there either. Right. And he hasn't done anything on the second power play unit to make me bring him up to the first. But I don't want to harp on Maccelli too much because like I'm sitting here and I want him to do good. I like Maccelli. Like I want him to do good. Yeah. But it hasn't worked so far.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta call it quits and say what your experience wasn't beneficial, right? Just
Yeah,
gotta call it cuts.
yeah. We're like when we got Joshua, I wasn't expecting him to be like the offensive, guy because he's
No,
not. Wow, same thing. But Michelli, I'm like, what? Out of all the guys we brought in the offseason, he's the highest potential of offense, right?
of course, yeah.
And you haven't seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
yeah.
I don't want to stick on one player for a long time. I'm if you want to add anything.
Let's finish today with what's today? The Thursday, November 20th. I don't know how many games they have in the next week, but by Thursday next week, by Thursday
Wait,
next week.
six
Huh?
games away, 6 in a row away. I think it is
What?
6 games away in a row. I'm
Okay,
pretty
but
sure.
how many games are in the next week?
I don't know. I know they
3 or
play.
4 probably.
I'm guessing probably. I know they play uh the Habs on Saturday. I'm pretty
You
sure.
know what? I'm gonna check the NHL website because this will be something of a question for the young Luca. All right, so Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got
I have it up too. Yeah, so we play
the
Montreal.
Canadians.
So November the 26th, which is the Wednesday. Is that Wednesday?
Yeah, we play Columbus on the Wednesday.
Jesus. And then we play Washington on the Friday. And then we play Pittsburgh on Saturday. We have a back-to-back Washington Pittsburgh.
Okay, so for the next week, we've got Montreal.
Or 4 games, counting tomorrow. Or sorry,
So,
I keep thinking today's Friday. Counting
am I missing one? Looks like we only have 2 games in the next week.
No, we play a back-to-back.
Oh,
November
today's Thursday.
the 28th Washington, 29th Pittsburgh. We have four games from Saturday to next Saturday.
Okay, so from Saturday to Saturday, 4 games. What are you expecting, and what are you realistically thinking?
Well, I mean the teams we play, Montreal has been good. Columbus, we haven't won against them this season yet. They smoked us away. Okay, fine. We played good tonight, but they beat us in overtime. Washington is Washington. And okay, Pittsburgh, we beat them last time, but Pittsburgh is still a good team, even though I don't know how. But anyways, I would like to go 2-2. I would like to split. I'd be happy with that. If we can beat Montreal on Saturday, just because I never want to lose to Montreal, and I say we beat either Washington or Pittsburgh. 2-2. I think we're gonna go maybe. Oh, the game on the 28th is at 5. Um, yeah, 2-2. 2-2. I think we're gonna go 1-3. 1-3.
I
0-4
I
actually. Just 0-4. 0-4.
I'm
0-4.
hoping we can go. I'm hoping we can get 6 points out of 8. And I don't mean 3-1. I mean 2 wins and 2 OT losses. Realistically, I think we get no more than 3 points. And that could be 3 overtime losses.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I don't know if we're going to win, if we're going to lose. I'm thinking points wise, we get no more than 3 out of 8.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Absolutely awful. But
Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on how we're playing. Like, you would like to, win or lose, you would like to see a good effort. You'd like for us to maybe score some goals, but if you're just talking about this team winning games, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you, man. Like, I get like tonight, like you said, like we might have deserved to win this one. I agree. We played good, but at the same time, you still you can still lose those close games, even if you're the better team.
Yeah.
So
T Tonight was a day where I looked at myself and I was like, you know what? Let's really try to watch this game as if I'm not a fan of Toronto.
yeah, just
And
like a yeah, like a yeah.
it seemed very simple, and this is gonna sound really bad. Not that I don't care. I love this team to death. I bleed blue through and through, but I know how this season is most likely gonna go. I'm still gonna watch the games. I'm still gonna be a Toronto fan. But because I know and have this, obviously, like we've seen this team, it doesn't look good. We can kind of see how it's going to go through the rest of the year. If it continues the same way, I can watch this team and actually be able to pick apart the the actual downfalls. Because like what I realized in the first period, there was chances where I'm like, oh my god, he missed. Oh my god, that was close. Oh my god, this. Oh my god, that. And I'm like, if you don't do that and you don't react like that, you might see it from a different light and be like, okay, maybe that shot wasn't actually as good as you thought it might have been. Right. So from now on, I'm not a Leafs fan. I am an LTLO fan, and that's it. Through and through, I bleed LTLO
There you go.
in the veins.
No, yeah, no, 100%. We'll close this off real quick, but it's true. I feel like now that we're kind of the way we're playing right now, it's easier to kind of point at what's going wrong. But at the same time, it's nice to see that a lot of guys, again, with the injury bug going around this team right now, it's nice to see players come up and maybe be something good for the future. Like Quillen really hasn't showed me much, but what can I really ask of him? He's been okay. He's been fine. Like we talked about before, Cowan getting a higher up role, like that wouldn't happen if our team was fully healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of shifts, but consistently being with Tavares and Willie probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, it's good to see that. But at the same time, like you said, just kind of watching the game, not kind of just reacting to the Leaf side of things and saying like, oh well, I would love to have Werenski on my team running the power play. That would be wonderful. But even though you know what, okay, I know it was Riley tonight, but OEL has actually had a pretty good season so far. At least offensively. Defensively, he's been fine too, but offensively, like he's been good. Like I think he got 1 or 2 points tonight. I think for sure at least one. He's been fine. But yeah, no, just watching it as like you said, we're obviously gonna watch the games and all that stuff. It's not gonna be like, oh yeah, the Leafs are on tonight, boohoo, like who cares? No, we're still gonna be, wanting to watch this team, but at the same time, it doesn't feel the same as other years, which is unfortunate, but that's sports for you, man. Can't be good forever.
Yeah.
Can't be.
And I think that's a good place to leave it off.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this has been the first episode of this season, not the first episode, but the first episode of this season of the LTLO podcast. We don't know when we'll be back, but we will be back soon. Thank you guys for watching and check in for more.